Hi guys, well it is July the 11th, 2026, 10:42 a.m. in Toogoom, Queensland, Australia. Now I'm coming back to read about the Weakling. During the week I uploaded from the Kolbrin, so an ancient manuscript, a description of the real man. Today I'm going to read the Weakling, and then I'll go on to read about the two kinds of women. Just to give you a brief, there are two categories of womankind: wives or potential wives, and women of pleasure. And I'm reading these because nothing changes. There's nothing new under the sun. And again, according to the immutable law that governs men's lives on the earth, men's and women's lives on the earth, and the chronograph of the sun, the moon, the stars, everything is set in place according to the law, capital L-A-W. And I don't mean the law of Moses, who we know is mythical. So these are teachings for grandmothers, mothers to pass on to their young sons growing into manhood, young daughters growing into womanhood. These teachings are a guide, and that's why I'm reading them to you. If we'd had them as young men, young women, our generation and the generations before us, we would have a caliber of generations today around the globe that would not be confused, would not be in this state of mind where they have no guidance. And so making decisions not based on truth or righteousness, but based upon what's popular in these generations that have degenerated. All right, so the Weakling. The burden of the real man and the shame of the earth is the Weakling. He frustrates the plan of God and degrades all men. The Weakling is wicked of heart, for wickedness comes easily to men. It is easier to be weak than to be strong, and the Weakling is one who takes the easy path. The soul of the wicked is wrapped in a winding sheet of hate, and corruption eats his spirit. He mocks, for mockery is an overspill of poison brewed in little hearts. The real man would rather be hated than mocked, for while men hate, cowards mock. The Weakling fawns upon the rich and strong. He oppresses the weak, and his joy is the molestation of widows and the unprotected. He cannot show respect for anyone greater than himself, for all men are his superiors. Therefore he shows a hypocritical respect only when profitable to himself. He cringes before the powerful and wreaks his will upon the helpless. His face is pressed into the dust before the seats of the mighty, but his foot is heavy upon the necks of the lowly. Goodness and duty are beyond his understanding, inasmuch as the evil in his nature corrupts his spirit and renders him incapable or worthy of deeds or noble service. The Weakling is one in whom evil destroys the good. In the real man, goodness vanquishes evil. In the hour of danger, the Weakling quails. His feeble spirit wilts, and his thoughts are confused. Everything he does is confounded. In the day of misfortune's blast, he sinks into the morass of cowardice and is overwhelmed by the black mire of despair. Abandon him to his fate, lest he drag you down to destruction. The very fear of a coward attracts the attention of misfortune and exposes him to danger. By quailing under poverty, he succumbs of meanness, and by tamely bearing insults, he invites assault. He feasts on the misfortune of the weak and unprotected. The carcass left by the lion feeds the hyenas. Destruction follows in his footsteps, for it is easier to destroy than to build. There is no respect for his person or possessions, and his wife is open to the leers of fornicators and the jeers of her sisters. The weakling is not one weak in body, but one who is weak in spirit. Neither does strength of body make the real man, for manliness is of the spirit, not of the flesh. A weakling will even marry a common woman whose husbands are 500, for his servile spirit rejoices in debasement. Mankind is divided in twain, real men and weaklings. Take your place with one or the other, for they will never be reconciled. I'll just pause and then I'll come back with the two kind of women. Right, now there are two more categories of the man, but I want to switch over to women because it's the assault against the real man by a certain kind of woman that brings destruction. Now, yes, so the other two categories of the man are the unstable man and the mean man. I'll come back to that in another video. So women, there are two categories of womankind, wives or potential wives, and women of pleasure. The first of these are the intended mates of men, their companions and comforters, the mothers of their children and the goddess of their hearths. The others become their companions in carnal pleasure. They dally with them, then cast them aside, and they pass on to the embrace of other uncaring men. Each woman decides which category she will join, and that is her chosen path. Never confuse the two kinds of women, lest you eat out your heart in sorrow and regret. It is decreed by the nature of things that womankind should fall into two groups, and each woman is to be dealt with according to the category in which she placed herself. What kind of woman can be without a household? Only one who is cast out, or who has run away because of her misdeeds. Avoid the singing woman whose ways are frivolous. She is beautiful, but her beauty is like the honey in the honey pot. It attracts many flies, and they pollute it. Guard yourself against the wiles of a woman from a strange country, whose city and household are not known. Who are her people? What are her ways? From what has she flown? From her mother's solicitude and her father's supervision? As she leaves them to sorrow, so will she depart from you. Or does she flee from her own reputation? Avoid the flattering woman who would beguile you with words. Shun her who repudiates woman's covenant with the creating God, who casts the treasures of womanhood lightly before men. Her hand guides along the path of sorrow. Her embrace leads to the soul's desolation. She shatters the dreams of man. She is traitor to womankind, the betrayer of womanhood. He who accepts meekly the seduction of a woman in his own household is a weakling and a coward, unworthy of the mantle of manhood. He who turns his face and sees not the seduction of another's wife encourages the adulterers, and establishes their place among the people. All men who are men are jealous of the sanctity of their hearth and home, and the righteous wrath of a wronged husband shall overwhelm the guilty ones. His is the day of vengeance, and no gifts shall appease him. He who suffers in defending the sanctity of womanhood suffers in the cause of God, who made woman the guardian of the portal of life. In the land of real men, she reigns as goddess of hearth and home. Be not bedazzled by beauty alone. A beautiful tree with gay flowers rarely bears an abundant harvest. As a fire is beautiful and useful when restrained within the fireplace, but a thing of destruction when loose, so is the beauty of a woman when not kept in restraint by virtue. The beauty of a chaste woman inspires a man to greatness and to high accomplishments, that he may possess it. But the beauty of a harlot leads him along the paths of dissipation and improvidence. Men will strive and attain great things to satisfy their desire, but will cease their efforts if it be cast at their feet. The beauty of womanhood was ordained to inspire man, and of all things it is his greatest incentive to achievement. Therefore a woman's secrets are not to be lightly attained. The evil of the harlot is that she encounters the inspiration of womanhood. Her wickedness is her cheapness. The pleasures of the harlot are of the body, and exist only for the moment, to pass into nothingness like a dream. What have you given? For it is the loss of men. The vigour of manhood, that bears man along the path of great things, may also be a weapon in the hands of evil. But the weapon remains sheathed until placed in the hands of the wanton woman. The harlot sets her trap. The toils of the net are soft and supple. The weakling is caught easily, and even better men are caught by deceit. The soul of a man is bruised, and the power of womanhood is weakened. The bait of a wanton woman may be seen from afar. It is attractive and alluring. The hook is well hidden. Her glance is bold. She seeks the attention of men and spreads out her temptations. Her allurements are well displayed, for has she not had much experience? Her limbs are soft and shapely, her attire loose and inviting. Her eyes speak silently of furtive pleasure. Her bosom invites the caress of lust. Her smile softens the heart, and her tongue kindles the fire of desire. The smoothness of her tongue overcomes reserve, and her soft manner closes the eyes of wisdom. She is familiar with the ways and weaknesses of men, and well practiced in the gratification of their bodies. She anticipates success, for her victims are not few. She dissatisfies the lustful desires of the body. But how does she serve the spirit? What does she do with man's highest dreams of womanhood? Fly from her allurements and close your ears to her words of false endearments. They are well worn from practice on many. if you give heed to her languishing glances, or listen to the soft words that fall from her lips, if you yield yourself to the warm embrace of her arms, then you sacrifice your manhood at the altar of lust. If she binds you with a spell, when your eyes become open, you will know the meaning of shame. Poverty and slothfulness follow in the train of the wanton. Misery and remorse will be your lot. Your manliness will be sapped by dissipation, your body pampered by luxury and softened by sloth will become enfeebled. Your limbs will weaken and your health depart. The glow of strength and the joy of living will be gone. There will be no tender arms to hold you with compassion, or eyes to regard you tenderly. None to listen to your griefs with understanding, for you have chosen the path of the fornicator. Gentle women will withdraw from your presence, and naught is to be wrung from the heart of a wanton, for only her body is soft. Therefore be wise in your dealings with women. And to be wise is to be prudent and strong. Reject that which is cast before you, for it will be shared with many men. Seek only that which is desirable in its near unattainability, for it will be yours alone. How drab the wanton beside the chaste woman, who stand bedecked in radiant virtue and dignified modesty, whose glory puts the brilliance of the starlit night skies in the shade. Her influence for good is among the greatest earthly powers. She moulds the destinies of men in purity and wholesomeness, and in her hands the hammer strikes the chisel to fashion a form of glory. The chaste woman is soft and gentle, modest and kind. Her glance quickens the beat of all, but the hardest heart, and her touch quietens the raging storms in the most troubled. Her eyes shine with womanly innocence, and she is garbed in simplicity and truth. Her exclusive kisses are sweet as the fresh-picked, dew-cooled grape, and the breath from her lips is as a warm, soft, perfumed breeze. Close the doors of your spirit against the destructive assaults of deforming passions, and open your heart to the tenderness of love. Its pure, gentle flame shall inspire the soul to sublime heights of glory, and softly mould it into a magnificent form of perfection. All right, I'll pause here and come back with choosing a wife.